All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Automotive World. We are on our final story of the night. This one is a big one because the Nissan Armada has been a very popular vehicle for a very, very long time, and for good reason. It's been reliable, it has been powerful, it is capable. And we have an all new generation, and we have a lot of all new stuff. We have that new twin turbo V6, but for the first time ever, and we're going to go through, we've got a lot of pictures to go through, but for the first time ever. And this is a long time in the making, and Nissan has done this at the right time with the new Sequoia and the Land Cruiser coming back. First ever Pro-4X on the Armada. And it looks great. The capability is there. Like I said, we're going to go through the pictures, but this is huge. This is something Nissan has done this at the right time. There are still things that Nissan, I think, needs to do to compete with Toyota, especially in that off-road overlanding space. But this is really, really big. Like I said, that first thing, the Pro-4X. So we have, and this is a proper upgrade. This is not just like Honda's Trail Sport, like an appearance pack. We've not only got true all-terrain tires, we've got increased approach angles, underbody skid plating, electronic locking differentials, adaptive electronic air suspension. This is a proper off-road ready machine. This is really, really big here. We have, for the first time ever as well, that twin turbo V6. Now you can find that in Infinity's models and that QX80. It does make more power than the old V8. It's about 425 horsepower, and it's about like 586 or so pound-feet of torque, somewhere around there, which we'll be using both articles, 516 pound-feet of torque. So that is an increase of 25 horsepower and an increase of 103 pound-feet of torque. Still, rest in peace though, the old V8 that is gone. That V8 was around for a really long time. It made a decent amount of power. It was really, really reliable. We'll have to see how this twin turbo V6 is, but we've got more power. We've got a 9-speed transmission, and because we also do have, this vehicle being more capable in terms of the actual frame itself, this vehicle can now tow 8,500 pounds. The original Armada was usually around 7,000 pounds, so it was still a very capable towing machine. This towing 8,500 pounds, this is only getting better, and this is only making this vehicle more capable. We also have a whole bunch of, Pro Pilot Assist 2.1, Nissan Safety Shield on there, 14.3-inch screens with Google's built-in connectivity. We have the 64-color ambient lighting system, Clips 12-speaker premium audio system. They don't give us a wattage on that. I hate when they don't give us a wattage, but it is what it is. We do have 24% increase in cargo space behind the third row, and that's going to allow for enhanced first and third row legroom and for the 2025 Armada. Overall, this vehicle is just getting better and better. They don't give us any pricing, unfortunately. They do tell us what trims are going to be around, and they do tell us when they're going to be on sale. So we know that there will be an SV, an SL, Pro-4X, Platinum, and Platinum Reserve. So obviously we can see on there, and we can also see from the pictures when we look on there, a lot of inspiration in terms of trend-wise from, like the Frontier and especially the outgoing Titans, which we're going to look at these pictures right here. I've got them all downloaded so we can look at them in full resolution. But this is really, really big here. 25% increase in torsional rigidity. That's going to allow, for that improved ride quality, and it's going to help out with the towing as well. So, I mean, this is just a really, really big vehicle. This is a huge upgrade here. The Pro-4X, 9.6 inches of ground clearance, 2.1 inches taller than the standard height, excuse me. We've got 33.9 degree approach angle, a 25.3 degree breakover angle, and a 24.3 degree departure angle. So we can see here, like I said, this is not just an appearance pack for the Pro-4X. This is a true off-road ready pack. And this takes this vehicle, like I said, to the next level. And especially at a time when Nissan's kind of reworking the truck division, with the Land Cruiser being out, This is really important. This is really huge for Nissan, especially in the space that they're in. This is one of the vehicles too that has just been consistent with them throughout. So this is a absolutely huge vehicle here. Let's get right into these pictures though, because we have some awesome pictures here. So let's start off here with the interior. So we can see here, this is a very premium interior. We can see that full screen here. We can see how it's split right here. Really nice interior. We've got some physical buttons here for our memory seats and things like that. We've got our window buttons here. We've got our electronic parking brake there, auto hold there. We have, looks like we have a little knob here on the steering wheel. That's not bad. I'm not a fan of touch capacitive buttons, but they do look good. I will say the steering wheel does look really good, especially with the Pro-4X stitching on there, and that orange there with the logo there looks really nice. We do have our integrated trailer brake controller here. This is really nice. Really like that. It's in a pretty good spot too, unobstructed away from everything else. So that's really good there. We have a nice center console here. This is really good. Really big, really deep center console. We've got some physical controls here. We do have some buttons on here. They are some of those kind of super shiny, you know, piano black buttons. I'm not a fan of those just because of how quickly they accumulate dust, especially in such a high traffic area we're going to be using them. But we've got all of our buttons here, generally in a pretty good place here. So we've got our drive mode selector here. We have our, you know, heated seats, ventilated seats, our aircon controls here. We've got 4 high, 4 low. We do have an auto mode, so obviously, you know, this is a full-time 4-wheel drive system. So something I would have liked to have seen on the Frontier, you know, being able to have that auto mode on there, really nice. We have our traction control, or it looks like our sway bar disconnect here. I am not a fan, as you guys know, of push button gear selectors. I don't like it. I actually think it looks kind of tacky. That's what they did though, so it is what it is. Looks like we've got our auto start stop here. We've got that there, which is really nice. We've got our air conditioning vents here. Really nice stitching throughout, really nice interior throughout. The Armadas have always been really nice interiors here. Let's get on to the next photo here. Looks like some of our photos here are not going to open. Give us 1 second. Here we go. Looks like we have to go from the bottom. So we can see here from the front here, this, I think it looks really nice. I do like the way the older one looked, but I think this looks really nice. We can definitely see here a lot of what we see in the current range from, you know, the headlights on the Frontier, and especially with this profile, though really more so with the Titan. But we can kind of see how those headlights look from the Frontier and the Titan, the bottom part of the, you know, the grille here. We can see how on the Pathfinder, that kind of the Rock Creek edition there, we can really see from all of the trucks and the SUVs how Nissan incorporated the styling onto this specific vehicle. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks pretty good, honestly. I do like the way the older one looked. I'm just not a fan of this kind of like, you know, sort of V shape in the grille here. But I think it looks nice. I think the headlights look nice. And like I said, I think they found a way. They just looked at all of the vehicles and they were like, okay, let's incorporate all of it into one. Really nice. We've got our tow hooks on the bottom here. We've got our off-road all-terrain tires here. Underbody skid plates here. Looks like we've got some fog lights here. Really nice to see that as well. Let's go on over to the next photo that we have. We can see our side view here. So we've got a little intake slate there. We've got our running board there and things for steps there. We can see our door handles here. It's a really nice looking vehicle. The Armadas to me have always been really nice looking vehicles. I think the stance too on this vehicle is actually really nice as well. Definitely, you can obviously, you can see a lot of the Infinity in here, but a really nice looking stance on there. This is the only part that kind of gets me when it looks like this. Like I said, I don't mind the headlights and all. I think this part looks nice. It's just this part here, I'm getting a lot of kind of Pathfinder vibes on there, which, not to say that the Pathfinder looks bad, but I just don't think the Pathfinder dimensions wise on this vehicle necessarily works. And I'm kind of also kind of getting like kind of Kia EV9 vibes a little bit, depending on how you look at it. So I don't think it looks bad. I just kind of wish like they didn't incorporate so much of the Pathfinder in here, because I'm just seeing a lot of Pathfinder. I love like I said with the lights, how it's, you know, you can tell it's Frontier and Titan. And it's really more so Titan. I really like that. I'm just not a fan of how I'm seeing Pathfinder in that. The back though I think looks really nice. We cannot see a tow bar on this one here, so we've got that all covered up on there. We can see our Geolander all-terrain tires on there. So like I said, this is the Pro-4X model. This is like a, you know, this is a proper thing that we have here. This is not some sort of appearance pack like other people are doing, like with Honda with the Trail Sport models, or with, you know, Hyundai and some of their like XRT stuff and things. This is a proper upgrade here. And you know, we look at it here, the stance on the vehicle looks really nice. They've done a good job at still like modernizing it and rounding it a little bit, but not really losing that kind of iconic shape that the Armada's always had. Rest in peace to that V8, but we do have a twin turbo V6. It does make more power, it does make more torque, and obviously it is more efficient. We will have to see how the reliability is on that in the long term. It has been out in the Infiniti for a little while now, but we'll have to see how that turns out. But generally, Nissan engines for the most part are pretty good. So I have a lot of faith in this V6 twin turbo, and while I would have loved to have a V8 because, you know, it's just fun to say that you have more cylinders, the 6 cylinders isn't bad, and it's a twin turbo, so, you know, like I said, there might be some reliability issues down the line. There may not be, but if you're telling me I'm still going to get a V6 with 2 turbos and I'm going to get 25 more horsepower and 103 pound-feet of torque more, you know, I'll be upset that I'm losing the V8, but it could be worse. It's not going to be that bad, but we'll have to see down the road there. We have another view here of the Pro-4X interior trim. Really love the seats here. Not only the stitching here, but really just love the seats in general. Nissan does really good seats. If you haven't sat in like some of like especially in the Frontier, their memory seats that they have, they're really nice seats, and I think the stitching looks really well. You know, it's the wood kind of accent there. It's tasteful enough. We can see there it's spelled out Armada kind of stamped in there. We've got some under, you know, storage here with some glow there. Really nice. Really tasteful for the most part. Not really seeing any interior problems. Here we've got another close-up look here, so we can see with our ventilated seats here on. All of this looks good. One thing I will say with Nissan a lot of times is known to, especially even in the Frontier, it's still a relatively new model, new generation, and there's some buttons in that thing that look like it's from like 20-30 years ago. Thankfully they did not do that here, so all the buttons and everything looks good. I like how this all looks. I'm just not a fan of piano black just because it scratches and it gets dust very easily, but it all looks really good to me. Really like the steering wheel here. Like I said, just not a fan of the touch capacitive buttons. I don't mind these little dials and all that here. That's actually fine. I actually like those, but just not really a big fan of the touch capacitive buttons. But I love the way the steering wheel looks. Love the way the orange accent looks, not only on the actual stitching of the steering wheel, but just the logo itself. I think it looks really nice. Coming over here, we got more stitching of the seats here. We can see, you know, Pro-4X on the back there. Really nice. I think the seats look phenomenal. Really nice job here. You know, we see the bottom part of the seats, the seat stitching there, which is really good as well. You know, we can see that glove box again where it's spelled out Armada. Really nice, really good choice of materials that they use. Not looking, you know, doesn't look like cheap or anything. Really nice. We've got our other trims here. So it looks like, you know, one of our higher end trims there. Now this is, so kind of like I said before, you know, I just kind of see a little bit of Pathfinder. I don't really like the chrome and all that. I see a little bit of Pathfinder in there. When I actually kind of look at it too, I actually kind of see a little bit of like Lincoln in there a little bit. Some of the Lincoln models, I think they kind of look like that. I don't think it looks bad though. I'm just not the biggest fan of that kind of style. But it doesn't look bad by any means, especially from what Nissan has put out in the last few years, like their new kicks and all that. I think I can kind of see a little bit of the kicks in here as well, but it doesn't look as bad. So I will give Nissan some credit because they've come out, in my opinion, with some really terrible designs. We can see our back kind of, area here where we have our tailgate, spelled out Armada there. Coming to the back here, or coming to one of the tires here, we can see the rims here. Not bad. Like I said, I wouldn't pick chrome, especially too, right now I live in a construction zone, so these chrome wheels are just going to get dirty the minute that they, touch the dirt. We got our normal Bridgestone tires on here, nothing really crazy. Really, the Pro-4X trim is really what we're here to see, just because it's the first time ever that Pro-4X is on there. We can see, though, how, with like some of our limited trims and things, how the interior actually looks. I actually don't mind the brown stitching. I think it's a good contrast, especially with the black steering wheel. We can see the brown seats. We get a nice view of the back here, so we can see glove box, things like that, cup holders and stuff, armrests in the seats. Really, really nice and really spacious, really nice and wide seats as well, so that's really, really good. Whoever's sitting in those second and third rows, they are not really going to feel cramped. Now, whoever's sitting in the middle seat here, sucks for you, but whoever's got the rest of those two seats, you're going to be chilling. We can see here, glove box again. Pretty standard as well from how it looked before. Obviously, this one's got the brown on there, but pretty standard as before, as we expect. We can see here since 1951. I don't mind it. Lighter brown and the darker brown, on black. I don't mind it at all. It's not a color personally I would pick, like off the bat, but I don't mind it. Got a decent amount of wood trim here. Like I said, I do think too, like the stitching looks really nice, the quality looks really nice. They did a good job with the materials. I don't see, other than the piano black that I don't like, I don't see any, anything looks like it's reused or cheap plastics or low quality, plastics, things like that. I don't see any of that. So that is really, really good. Even when we look at the side profile, like I said, the stance is pretty decent. I do like the rear end more than I like the front in terms of looks, but I think, like I said, the stance looks really good. We can see here, quality wise, panel gap wise, obviously they're going to make sure this one's perfect for the pictures, but everything looks pretty flush here for the most part. Obviously the angle that we're looking at it to can't be the best representation, just for everything, like judging it indirectly, but it all looks really, really nice. We've got another great stance there. I'm surprised though we haven't had any pictures that show us with a tow hitch exposed or with any sort of towing at all. That's really, really interesting. I would think with the new engine, the new body structure, the rigidity and things, you would want to show off that 8,500 pounds of towing, but we haven't really seen any pictures of that. Coming back to the Pro-4X here, this is kind of the one everybody wants to see here. This is the one that I think looks the best as well. That green just looks really, really good, and it's really hard to do a really good green color. Really, really nice here. Good stance. Kind of see a little bit of like Ford in there as well. I know I said Lincoln in there earlier, but a little bit of Ford here. You can kind of see them side by side here too as well. Definitely, I think the Pro-4X, especially when you look at like the chrome on here, definitely think the Pro-4X looks a lot better. But both of them don't look bad. They do not look like terrible. Really good stance there. Every time I look at the front though, I just keep seeing something else. Like I see a little bit of like General Motors in there. I see so many other vehicles in that front end there. We've got our Armada on, naming on the back there, and the orange, outline being Pro-4X. Again, no tow hitch exposed, no towing pictures at all. Really, really interesting. Really interesting to see that. We've got a nice look again at those Geolandar all-terrain tires, and those are those Yokohamas there. Really, really nice tire, really good looking. We got a nice picture here. Finally, a picture actually of the moonroof as well. So first we've actually seen one of those. I will say, usually Nissan gives us a lot better pictures. they haven't really given us a lot of like scenario pictures. I'm actually a little bit kind of I'm not disappointed in the looks of the vehicle necessarily, but more so in the picture choices that Nissan has given us this time. But it looks really, really nice. I think, like I said, the interior look on this vehicle looks great. You know, we can see on the back here in that Pro-4X trim, you know, we've got our different seating arrangements and things here. Whoever's gonna get that middle seat, it's gonna suck for you, but it's whatever. You could be in a worse spot. Here we go. Finally, some towing. Thank you. So we can see here with that 8,500 pounds of towing, we do have their towing a side by side there. This is really, really nice here. Clearly, it has a V6. It has a twin turbo. It's making 425 horsepower, like 513 or 516 pound-feet of torque. So it's got plenty of power to do this type of, you know, work. And so I'm finally glad we get a towing picture. I was waiting for one of those. And it looks like here some of our pictures that we downloaded for the Platinum Reserves and things are not going to open. So we'll see what pictures we can actually get on here. We have another picture here that we looked at before. That was our first picture. So we'll have to see. We'll have to try to get those open later. But we'll go back down to that last Pro-4X picture. This one, like I said, I think this vehicle honestly looks really, really good. No complaints on the looks really too much. I just see a lot of things in there. Just Pathfinder, I just don't really like that part. But really no real complaints on the looks. I think the interior, they absolutely killed it, which is good. You know, because this vehicle is going to be around for a long time. We'll have to wait and see, you know, how this new one is. I expect this new one to be light years better than the previous one. And like I said, I think right now too, the biggest thing for Nissan Armada is Pro-4X. And this is coming at, like, Nissan could not have planned this at the more perfect time, especially with a new Sequoia out, with a new 4Runner out, with the Land Cruiser coming back. You know, this is, you know, even though it's not the Land Cruiser 300 series, you know, it's essentially the Prado. This could not have been planned at a more better time. And the Armada has always been an all-arounder vehicle. It's capable, it's big, you were able to take it anywhere, reliable. You could tow with it, you know, you could haul the whole family and the goodies in there. You can do that still with this one, and it's got even more space, it's got even more power, it's got even more towing, and it finally can come out of the box ready for off-roading. Obviously, you can go do your own upgrades as well, but the fact that we are getting a proper, ready, out of the box, from the factory Pro-4X trim on the Armada, and this has honestly been something that's been long overdue. This is a welcome sight to see. That is going to do it for now. I know we went a little long in this video, but this was just really exciting news, and we had to go through all the images I could get. Let me know what you guys and girls think down below. If any of you are a Nissan Armada owner, because there's a lot of you out there, it's been a very popular vehicle since its inception to the United States. If you have one of them with the V8, are you upgrading to this new one? If you were considering an Armada before, are you considering the new one? Are you still going for an older model year? Let me know what you guys and girls think down below. Did Nissan kill it, or did they flop? That's going to do it for now, though. Like always, thanks for watching, everyone.